Hey guys, today we're gonna do a full teardown on the VW Type 4 Porsche 914 2.0 engine. Check it out. Where is that engine? Is the engine in the rear or the front? Is the engine in the front or the rear? All right, before we do this teardown, let's take a quick look at the last video and some of the highlights. It was pretty good. Check it out. Whoa! It's alive. First thing we're going to do is just start getting all of the hoses and fuel injection stuff, the wires and everything off the top of this. Just start going down, taking off the tin, the intake manifolds, this air pump thing, all these hoses and electrical wires. Get all this stuff off of here. We're also going to disconnect the transmission and the exhaust and the headers, everything. Complete teardown, full teardown, all the way down to the inside so we can check it out, see what's going on, and get ready to rebuild it. Let's get started. Just start pulling off these spark plug wires. There's a few of them. That one was really tight. I ended up getting it out at the end of the last video. Just get all these plugs out of the way. Ooh, that one's tight. This is another reason why I want to take it all apart. You just see all the gunk down in there. You know, this is just junk that's down in the engine. I want to get all that clean, really clean. Look at that gasket. It's pushed down in there a little bit. All right, there's some electrical stuff up on here for the fuel injection. Look at the corrosion and dirt in there. You can see the dirt down in there. All this stuff just needs to be cleaned and tested. And injectors here, they have these little boots on them. You can see that one just popped right off. This is the reverse light. We're gonna have to get some tools to get this stuff off of here. I'm just taking the ones off that are easy to take off right now. There's another one here. Some of these boots are dry rotted and falling apart. That one looks pretty clean. All these little gadgets have to be cleaned and checked to make sure that it's all working properly. I wouldn't mind reinstalling the fuel injection. I think it'd be kind of cool to try to recreate the original system. and run it for a little while like that and just see how it performs. It might be kind of cool, but all this stuff has to be gone through. This is, I'm not sure what this is. It's some kind of pressure regulator or vacuum pump thing. I would imagine someone has created a newer, more efficient version of this fuel injection. I'm not sure. That you can retrofit on here, possibly, but it might be kind of cool to go through the original and keep it original and just see if it's possible to bring it back to life. All the hoses are dry rotted. All the lines on the inside have corrosion. It's just dirty and it needs to be gone through, guys. Look at that. Yeah. Now that's a vacuum hose, but still, I mean, it's hard as a rock. Hard as a rock. It's a little easier just to get it out of your way than try to pull it off. Can't even get it off here. Should be soft, but it's almost 50 years old, so the hose has probably been, that was probably a factory hose. This is probably a factory hose. This is one I put on. I replaced this one, this one, this one here, and a couple other ones. There's another plug in here for the fuel injection, which is kind of interesting, and it looks like a temperature sensor of some kind. This one here. Let's go into that temperature sensor. The boot is dry rotted. There's another one here. I think that's oil pressure. There's another regulator here. That's got a wire going to it. And I can't get to it, so I want to get this off of here. This one, I need a vice grips on that one. There we go. Two little washers. And there's one. See, there's a wire there. It looks like it goes right up in it. Does it come out? I know it comes out of here. There we go. Maybe. That's in there. Well, came off that end. All right, we'll have to clean that up and figure out a better way to connect that. Goes to that wire there. That harness is off. This boot's toast too. Ooh, and there's a nest in there of some kind. That boot's $100. Just kidding. I don't know if it's $100. A little rusty. This is a 13 mil. And this is holding the power cable on for the starter. Sends power to the solenoid, and then the solenoid turns over the sends power to the starter. All right. Making progress now. These little grommets here are all dry rotted. They'll all have to be replaced. There's a bunch of them too. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the boot. There's all these little rubber pieces. This is like the main fuel injection harness right here. It looks like it's loose. There's a little plastic clip holding the harness right here. It's dry rotted, so it needs to be replaced. There's 3 ground wires that go down to the case here. I'm gonna pull those 3 ground wires off of that grounding post there. There's another wire here. It looks like, I think that is the head temperature sensor. It looks like it was cut right here at one point. And they put some tape on it. Or maybe there was a boot here and it ground it out. Yeah, and there was just, something happened right here. Just disconnect that. That goes into a sensor that's in the head. I think that's everything for the fuel injection wiring. This is it right here. This is the fuel injection wiring system and computer. All right, that's starting to make things a little more simple. Let's see if we can get these fuel injectors off of here. They are 10 millimeter, and it looks like there's just that one on the top, that one nut right there. I think that's it. Yeah, they're on there pretty loose. Those came off real easy. Let's see how they pop out of here. The 1.7 engine that I pulled out of my 1972 914 had the injectors on it too. But it's been a year, I think, since I pulled that engine out, and it's already rebuilt. If you guys haven't seen that video, go check it out. There's a few build videos with Darren, and there is a first start video. It sounds pretty good. All right, let's get this hose off of here, and this hose. I'm just gonna cut these. Oh, that one's in there. There's something else holding it. No, it's just in there really good. There we go. All right, guys, that's the injector. We'll clean those up and test them at some point to see if they're all squirting like they're supposed to. I think you can buy new ones or remanufactured ones, rebuilt ones. But yeah, that's where they pop in. I'm not sure if the seals are bad on them or not, but they feel pretty hard. They're hard as a rock. If that's the seal right there, that feels like a rock. So those were probably leaking, I would imagine. A lot of dirt and stuff around there. All right, let's get this side off. Anywhere we can put a nut or a washer back on, I'm gonna do that so that try to eliminate losing them or getting them mixed up. So once I get this all apart, I'm gonna clean it and everything, and then we're probably gonna take a break from the red 914 for a little bit and jump back on the Ghia, start doing some body work on the Ghia. I think now we can pull these intake manifolds off of here. I would assume you could take this off and then put plugs in the head so you don't have these pipes running over the top. So yeah, look at that. Basically just an air pump to pump air into the exhaust so more clean air comes out of the exhaust. But you're still polluting the same amount. Hopefully that doesn't have to go back on. That makes it look so much better without that thing on there. Let's see if we can get this thing off of here. Look how loose it is. It's like, I'm sure it's not supposed to be that loose. See how it's just kind of flopping around here? It's rusted pretty bad. Huh. Pretty bad. There we go. All right. There we go. And I didn't scratch it. Cool. It looks original. Hopefully we can clean it up and reuse it. Let's see if we can get these manifolds off. Oh, here we go. It helped getting that, it helped to get that air hose out of the way. See how tight that is though? You can't really get in there. That thing's right in the way. Feels like it's coming out. I think it is. All right. Look at that. I bet you could just plug it. Oh, it just feels like that one wants to break. She's a little tight. She's a little tight. I need to get this out of here. So these were 22 millimeter. And these are 13. And they all come off real easy. They're not very tight. This might just pop off now. Ah. Yeah, right. Is there something else holding it? Oh. There we go. There it is. Woo! Awesome. Look at that. Getting there, guys. All right, let's do the same thing on this side. This time I'm gonna try using a drill on these. Yeah. Go. Oh no. Shoot. Dang it. Dang it. I just broke the thread off from there. Oh well. Oh well. Alright. Live and learn. Try to learn anyway. Hopefully we can just, if the heads are good, just drill that out and plug it. Tight. I guess it's mostly really air that goes through these. All right, guys, we're getting there slowly. Okay, let's get the coil out of the way. The distributor, the coil's here. This is the distributor. Hopefully this will come loose. That's tight. There we go. All right, that should allow us to turn this now. There we go. Man, that came out pretty easy. Pretty easy. Let's get this little oil filler bracket off of here. All right, what's next? All these flathead here, 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 all here, here. We're gonna get all those off on both sides and just keep diving into it. All right, we're getting there. This is held on. There's a 13 right here. It's a wavy washer. And that's it. The whole thing is held on by that and a flathead there and a flathead here. So 3 connection points on that. 3 or 4. All right. We are getting down to the case. There's that ground point. That's where the fuel injection grounds down to. I'm gonna keep this. Try to keep as many of these things together as possible because that bolt is very specific for that spot there, it looks like. What's that little thing? Oh wow, it's like an access hole there for something. This might actually come off now. Still got a wire here that we got to figure out. Just push that grommet through with the screwdriver. There we go. Oh yeah. Woo. Okay, well, there's the cover. Pretty nasty, pretty dirty. And look at the nest that's still in there after all that time I spent blowing this stuff out and vacuuming it. It's just almost impossible to get it all out of there. And look how it's all packed up underneath here. I mean, that is not cooling properly at all. There's just no way. So yeah, it was getting hot. You know, it was getting really hot. I mean, there's no airflow going through there. None. Wow. How is it supposed to breathe with all this stuff in there? Look at that. It is packed in there, guys. Packed. And there's a tin underneath here that's probably packed full too. So you can see there's no airflow. There's supposed to be air that can flow around these heads. And it's just not happening with all this on there. I can't believe it ran good at all like that. That was just wild. We'll see how this side looks. It was right there. Oh my God. Ah, man. Dang. Wow. I can't believe how much junk is in there after I blew everything out. Like, I mean, this was covered. I blew all this out. This was completely full of nest of the cotton, but the stuff that is packed in here, guys. I can't believe it even ran at all. Like, it's just unbelievable. Look at all the stuff that's packed in there. I kind of wish I would have just done this to start, because I might have, you know, made it worse. Hopefully I didn't mess up the crank or anything. Hopefully it's just the bearings. But yeah, I mean, this stuff is just, it's just packed in there. It is packed in there. Wow. Here's the, oh, is this open? Yeah. Open and closed positions, I guess. I guess this one doesn't close totally. Just that amount. Whew. Look at this stuff in here. This is the oil cooler. I mean, when it was parked, all this stuff probably wasn't in it. You know, the nest and everything, but there was probably still a bunch of grease and other junk in here when they parked it. Wow. Parts are starting to pile up. I'm gonna take a minute and spray all these rusty bolts on the exhaust, because this is gonna have to come off. We might have to break out the Sawzall and cut some of that pipe out of the way. These are pretty rusty, so these head bolts, let those soak. Pop one of these valve covers off and see what it looks like in there. There we go. It doesn't look terrible. I'll pop this one off too and see what it looks like. Should look about the same. Yep. It's got a wavy washer and a regular washer. All right. There we go. Hey, there's no broken fins. That's awesome. It's all rusty. Needs to be cleaned up. Okay. Gotta get these 4 off. Are those 13s as well? Looks like it. There's a washer in there, so we want to make sure you get those washers. out, and I think there's a bolt on this side, and this whole thing should pop off.
A couple more 13s, one here, and these are bolts. Wavy washer and a regular flat washer. Wavy washer's on there first. So this goes back to the oil cooler here. I think we can keep that on there like that for now. This whole thing might pop off now. Actually, I think there's one more bolt over here. Yep.
There we go. Oh, the alternator's on there. Look, came off with it. Cool.
Okay, so at some point, they swapped out the alternator because it says remanufactured on here. Unless they were putting remanufactured ones in new at the factory. Here's some more stuff up here. Let's see if this will come off. I'm not sure if something's holding it on there or not. I bet you something's holding it. No, guess not. Okay. Pretty gnarly. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of tin, and there's still a couple more underneath. And that's all for designed to cool the engine. Let's get the oil cooler off. I don't know what it is, guys. I love taking these engines apart and just kind of discovering, you know, everything. It's pretty wild. All right.
Comes right off. Look at that. Yeah, somebody's been in there. Look at the whatever kind of red stuff glue they put on there. I can't imagine that's factory. Maybe it is. It looks like some kind of sealer. Probably had an oil leak and they... This is original because it says 9 of 75 on here. There's a date. Look at that.
Most likely this is the original oil cooler, guys. Although someone may have been in here. I'm not sure if that's factory or not. Maybe one of you guys know. But it says 9 of 75 on there. The car's a 76, that makes sense. It is possible they rebuilt this car at some point or did a couple fixes on it, and maybe that was one of their fixes. Let's fixing this. I don't know if the factory used that red sealer or not, or what it is. If you guys know, comment below. Let's go ahead and get this oil filter adapter off. It's a 13. All right, there we go. All right, let's work on getting these heads off. These are 11s. We gotta get these rockers out of here. Oh, and I think these are very specific nuts and washers too. Ooh, there's some pressure on those. So I'm gonna put the washers and nuts back on these posts, these bolts. There's a little spring under here too. Ooh. All right. These are just sliding apart here. This interesting little lock spring that goes in there. I'm gonna put these back on before I misplace them. But you can buy them new. I think I bought some new ones for the 1.7 build because I misplaced them. Check out the push rods. Pretty cool. Pretty heavy duty those suckers are. All right. Now we can get the head bolts off. All right, let's try to pop that head off there. Ooh, a little tight. These are torque. We're breaking torque. Oh, you know what? The exhaust is still on the bottom of them. I might be able to lift up on the engine mount right here. All right, let's get under there and see what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at, that rusty bolt right there. There should be another one on that side. Be a couple back here. I'm gonna spray all this down with PB Blaster real quick. Yeah, it's rusty. Took the stud right out of the head. That one, just a bolt came off. These other ones are hard to get in. I don't even know if I can get in there. Oh, wow. How the heck are you supposed to get in there? All right, these are the heater boxes, and they're wrapped around the exhaust headers. And they're in the way here. They're blocking the other bolts. So I'm trying to get this off. We need to get the entire heater box off. Yeah, I hit these with PB Blaster earlier. These are gonna be tricky. They are really rusty. Ooh, they're really, really rusty. Got one under here that's stripped, so we're gonna have to cut it out. So here's what we just did. We undid these 3 exhaust bolts that go to the heater box on both sides. Pretty rusty. And now the heater boxes come back here, connect to the exhaust, and there's a bracket right here that connects them to the transmission. I'll get this off of here. Oh. And then that whole exhaust and heater box should come off. All right, guys, it's the next day. Let's keep pushing forward. I was trying to keep my gloves on today. My hands were taking a beating. We're gonna get this old exhaust off here, this muffler, because it's no good and it's in the way. I don't know if I can get to this one. I'm trying to keep the header intact because it's pretty solid from here around, and that might be useful on something at some point. So I don't necessarily want to cut this. I want to save it. It's kind of cool, but I can't get to that bolt, so we're gonna have to cut that one. Let's try this first. Oh man, that one's on there, guys. Dang. I mean, we're close. We're real close. Yeah, the blade was just worn out already. All right, that side loose. Same thing on this side. Let's see if we get those off of there. Like we might be able to move this here. This piece has a piece of tin holding it, so I gotta get up under there and get those off. All right, guys, I hope you're enjoying this 1976 Porsche 914 series. I'm having a lot of fun with it. If you guys are following along with the Gia, I've got something pretty cool coming up for that, so stay tuned. It's pretty exciting. It's really exciting. There it is. Oh. All right. Woo. Okay, cool. That feels good to get those off of there. All right. Now I want to get this transmission out of the way. And that's going to make things a lot more simple. I don't know if that'll fit through there or not. I think it will. There's also this other piece of tin here. And oh, look, you can see the thermostat in there. It's hiding in there. And it's all the way open, which means it's probably bad. Transmission, let's see. There's one here, or this one doesn't matter. This one, there should be 4, just like a Volkswagen. This one, and another one there. So if we take those off, the transmission should pop off. let's get the transmission out of the way. I'm pretty sure those are 17 mil, if I remember correctly. Of course, it's glued on here pretty good. The grease. All right, you can see it's starting to come loose here, right there. You can kind of see it right there. It just needs a little encouragement. All right, it's close, guys. I put some wood under there just to give the engine something to rest on as it comes off here. It's real close. Real close. There we go. All right. It's coming. I think this gear shifter is going to give me trouble. It's going to get hung up on it. So there's a boot right here. I need to pull this boot back. And there's a, looks like an Allen wrench. Looks like there's an Allen wrench set screw right here. I'm going to get that out and maybe we can pull the gear shifter that way and get it out of the way. Get that boot out of the way and then figure out what size that Allen wrench is. Looks like there's a zip tie or something holding that on. There we go. And this boot, let's see. It's kind of awkward. Huh. All right, let's see if we can get this sucker out of here. There we go. Ooh. It's been in there a while. All right, that should come out now. Yeah. And that pops off. So that thing just kind of sits there and that goes in there and then pin goes in that hole. So this there we go. Slide that off. It's like a puzzle. All right, cool. That gets the gear shifter out of the way. Little pin right there holds it in. Screws into here, and then there's a hole right there that it rests in. There it is. Okay, cool. We just got to get this down without dropping it. It's got a little weight to it. Too bad, not too bad. Yeah. All right. All right, guys, the transmission is off. That's pretty exciting. Really exciting. We got the clutch and the flywheel to get off here, and the heads, the jugs. the motor mount here, oil pump, quite a bit of stuff to get off, but we're getting real close. I'm gonna try to get this motor mount out of the way. I don't think we need it anymore. It came in handy to use the jacks on, but I think we're at the point where we can try to get this off. Let's try to get some of this crap out of the way here. Oh, very loose on that one. This one's rusted. That one came right off. There we go. Not too bad. All right, so it's got the nut, wavy washer. I don't see a washer on this one. And the bushings that are all hard as a rock. All right, I'm gonna keep trying to get this head off of here. This head is loose. Is this loose? There's a 10 right there that just came out. There's a small flathead screw right here. Trying to lube these up here. There's a couple more pieces of tin under there. Let's see if I can get that off. I don't know if that's holding it or not. It might be. It looks like it is. But I need to get this out of the way too. And I might have to get the push rods out of the way. That looks like it goes into the head. All right, let's see if we can get these push rods out of the way. Seems like it's all connected and that piece of tin is somehow just holding it in there. You see where someone's done this before, there's some scratch marks and a little bit of an indent. So these have been out before. Oh. Oh, there we go. Wow. Yeah, you can see, I just squished them, but you can see where they've been squished before. Someone's been in here before. Ah. And, they're tight, man. They're tight. All right, guys, that was a little difficult. You can see where someone squeezed them before, and there was marks where I've put mine. I put new marks on top of the old marks, so it's a thing. It is a thing. Someone's been in there before. It's possible this engine's been rebuilt at some point. Still don't know why those aren't coming off, but you can see that piece of tin. It's kind of holding everything in there. There's a flathead there, and there's another flathead there. I'm gonna get those off and see if that helps free everything up. I think it will, if I can get in there. Yep. There we go. Yeah, I think that tin was kind of holding on to everything there. Okay. Almost. This should have come out already. I don't know why this isn't coming out. I need to get something on here that I can hit. There we go. Ah, it's coming now. Yeah. Just need a little leverage on that sucker. Now this will come out. Woo! Look at the dirt. Look at all the dirt. This head's gonna pop right off now, I bet you. I don't see anything else holding it. All that stuff together was holding it on there pretty good, I think. Yep. Now it's just gonna come right off. There it is. There it is. We'll knock that cylinder off there in a second. Whew. Oh yeah. It's exciting. It's exciting. Let's get this oil temperature plate off of here. These are 10 millimeter. And then we gotta get this tin off, that manifold, and that other head. We had that off previously when we drained the oil, so it's a little cleaner than it would have been, but there's still some junk on there, see it? She was pretty dirty on the inside. There's probably still some dirt in there, but it's probably a lot cleaner than it would be if we would have just opened it up, because I flushed it with some clean oil, fresh oil, I ran it. All right, let's get these off. Ooh, that one came right off. All right, this side's got that same tin. We got to get that off of there. We got to get this exhaust manifold off. We got to get the push rods out of the way. Ooh, it's gonna be tricky putting all this tin back on. It's gonna be a challenge. Let's see if we can get that thermostat off of there. Let's see if we can get this exhaust off first. Let's see if we can get these exhaust nuts off of here. 12 millimeter, and they're rusty. This one's so rusty, the socket won't go on it. There we go. Pulled the whole stud out. All right, I'm gonna have to go buy some more stock up on these 12 millimeters because I've got 3 or 4 of them now that have nuts stuck in them. And this one's probably gonna be the same. Man, that
is a tight fit, boy. They couldn't have engineered that any tighter. Woo! Yep. And we got another one stuck. All 4 of these. I've been trying to get... Those are all 12s, so I'm gonna have to get some more 12s. Hopefully this will come out now. Feels good to get that off of there. Whew, let's get this thermostat out of the way. These push rod tubes, this tin, cooling tin under here. And get all the nuts off. We should be good to go. What size is that? 10. Whew. Woo. I can't even get in there on that one. What size is that? It looks like a 10. Maybe. All right. There it is, guys. When it's clean, this one's bad. It's supposed to be squished down like that, but it's extended, so in its cold position, it's supposed to be tight. It heats up and opens up the flaps. So you save this bracket and you put that new one in here and replace it. All right, let's get the push rod tubes out. Turn them a little bit first. That kind of loosens them up. And then pop them out. They still get bent. It's kind of almost impossible not to bend them. All right, we gotta get the rockers out first. And they are 11 millimeter. That's okay. Now these suckers will come out. They're crispy in there. Crispy. Okay, guys. Whew. Turn. Tap and turn, tap and turn. And apparently this screw right here is the only size screw like this on both sides. But these are normal. These are normal size here. Well, they got them up in there. Dang. It's hard to get pressure on it. See if we can get this thing to work. Yeah, it did. All right, cool. Yep, got it. Gotta have the right tools and a little bit of patience and some brute force. Oh man. That's all supposed to be clear
and clean. And what happens is these things just inherently leak and leak oil. And even right after you rebuild them, you know, unless you're really good at sealing everything up, boy, they just leak and gets everywhere, especially after, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 miles. Hard to tell how many miles this has on it. Is that a 10? Yeah. Let's go ahead and get this. This is the wheel for the thermostat wire. Little trolley. And it is broken. All right, that's interesting because I remember seeing that bolt right there in my last bolt kit. I took the 1.7 apart, and I'm like, where does that go? It goes right here. If I would have put it back in the hole, I would have known that. Let's get all these head bolts off. They are 15 millimeter. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Let's get that clutch off of there. And the flywheel. Pistons. All that stuff. Let's do it. These are 13s. There we go. Huh. I'm not sure exactly what to look for, but looks a little glazed and shiny. I don't think it's supposed to be that glazed and shiny. It looks a little burnt too there. Yeah. Probably get a new one, huh? All right. Let's see. We'll get these off of here. Get that flywheel off. 17 millimeter. And they got some torque on them. Nothing the Milwaukee can't handle. That drill is awesome. This should pop off now. There we go. It's got some weight on her. Ooh, that oil smells funky coming out of there. Look at that. There's a case nut right here that has to come out. And there's a seal right here. All right, let's get the pistons off the rods, because when you go to split the case, those pistons have to be off. So you gotta pull out the little wrist pin clips and push the wrist pins out, and then they should slide off. So it's a bit of a process. Let's do it. So there's these little clips that we have to get out, and they're a little tricky. They are a little tricky. You gotta have special pliers to get them out. This is the piston, and the clips are holding those pins in there. You got these special pliers. I've got a few different styles. Let's see if we can get them out. They're a little tricky. They are a little tricky to get on. Sometimes it helps to... I love how I'm like a professional at this, right? I've done it a couple... I've definitely taken a few of these apart. This is my second Type 4 that I've taken apart. I've taken apart a couple of the Type 1s. Come on, baby. There it is. Let's see if we can get this side out, and then we'll knock the pin out. All right, guys, you get the point. I'm gonna get all these out and bring it back when I'm done. But I got the 2 out of this one. Let's see if we can drive this pin out. There we go. All right, guys, that's it. We just drove it out. We got the clips off. Piston is off. That wasn't too bad. There we go. Woo. All right. I'm gonna do the other side and bring it back in a second. Nice. All right, we're just driving out the last rod here. That's it. All right, guys, we're making some good progress. I'm having some fun. Really having a lot of fun doing this. I want to get the lifters out. Should be able to just slide them out of here. I'm going to keep them in order in case we reuse them. I'm not sure if they're good or not. We'll have to look at them and take a close look at them. But let's take them out. We'll keep them in order where they came out. They should just slide out of here. Getting a little dirt on them as we pull them out, but man, they look pretty flat. I mean, I see a little bit of a ding on the top where the push rod's been, you know, pushing on it. But it looks pretty flat. I mean, the ones I pulled out of the 1.7 were concave. They were so worn out. They look pretty good. All right, I'm gonna keep them in order, and I'll put them in something to mark them so they don't get mixed up, because they're supposed to, if we end up reusing the cam. These are the brackets that hold the engine mount bar. They're 14 millimeter. Ooh, that was on there. All right, now the oil pump is under this plate here. And that is 13 millimeter. All right, the oil pump is under here, or it's in there. Pumps the oil through the system. Let's see if we can get that plate off. I don't know why it's not coming out. Maybe we need to loosen some of these. Take some of the tension off of it, probably. We'll do that. Because these might be squeezing it kind of a little bit. Go ahead and take these off. There was another nut here. All that's kind of squeezing the case onto the pump, so putting pressure on the pump, but you can see it's starting to break free right there. There we go. There it is. All right, let's get this case split. Start taking all these nuts and bolts off of here. There's one right here. All right, let's get these big bolts off. 17 mil. One, two, looks like there's 6 of them. There we go. And these, I think these are supposed to have these plastic things in them that keep them from coming out. You see that? You can't pull it all the way out. So don't worry about it, just leave that there. Once you split the case, then you can break those plastic things off. Yeah, these are definitely holding the case together, because you see it split right there. And get this thing off, the oil pressure. All right, guys, I found another one. It was covered up by that mud wasp. See that mud nest in there? It was covered up by that. So I knocked that loose. And you can only see it from one side. There's nothing on the other side. And it's that bolt right there. It's got a copper washer on it. That should be the last one. Let's try it again. She should open up now, hopefully. Let's try. Look at that. Easy. See? Should never have to force anything. The minute you see resistance, there's a problem, and I should have known that. It just, boom, just came right apart, no problem. Wow. Look at that, coming right apart now. That one hidden bolt. All right, she's coming apart, guys. Let's see if we can. This is not the ideal situation. It should be on a stand. It's all right. We'll figure it out. All right. There it is. There it is. Woo. Let's leave it right there for a second. Oh. Woo, there it is, guys. Finally. Man, I can't believe I missed that freaking bolt. I looked and looked too. That mud wasp nest was covering it. Anyway, you know, I kept telling myself it shouldn't be this hard. Just keep looking. So, you know what? I'm seeing some, from what I can tell, and I'm not a professional, but I'm definitely seeing some wear on that cam already. And it looks like some wear on these bearings already. So she is worn out, guys. Yeah, that doesn't look good. The bearings look worn out. The cam looks worn out. Something was slapping around in here. Could be the main bearing just completely worn out. But hopefully the crank is good. Hopefully the rods are good. We can get a new cam and lifters. We can get new bearings and put this baby back together. Because it did run, and it surprisingly ran okay for a little bit until it got hot. And then, you know, when the bearings are worn out, that oil heats up and there's no gap in between the oil and the machinery. So she needs a nice little rebuild, and we're gonna do that. So it's cleaner in here than it would have been, but you can kind of see there's still a bunch of gunk at the bottom because I changed the oil, put fresh oil on it, and then I ran it. So that cleaned it up a lot, but it's still pretty nasty considering I did that, you know. But I'm excited. Let me get this over on the bench, and we'll take a closer look at it. All right, I moved this table over here, took a little time and put the heads and jugs and lifters and the two case halves up here so we could take a closer look. This is the half that has the crank and the rods, the cam gear, and it's all in there. I didn't pull it out yet, so you can kind of see. Oh, this is one of the cam bearings that just fell off. Just fell off. See, there's one here, this one here, this one fell out. Goes right in there, and that little tab right there. And then there's one here. Look how worn that one is. See that copper? That's completely worn out. This one doesn't look too bad. This one doesn't look too bad. It's got some wear on it. But see, it's supposed to be silver. Underneath there's like a copper or a brass. I'm not sure exactly. But that's basically a wear indicator, lets you know that it's worn out. So most likely the cam is worn out and the other bearings are worn out. That looks like it's got some wear on it right there, buddy. There's that seal I was prying on right there. All right, let's go ahead and pull out the camshaft, the crankshaft, get that out and take a closer look at the bearings. All right, let's pull these out and we'll get up and real close to them and take a look at them. Is that it? There's a cam bearing here and here. And there's the main bearings here. And they definitely have some wear on them. These are the crankshaft bearings. And you can see they all have wear on them. There's not, that's a bearing. You can see the wear on it. It's not terrible, but you can see this one's starting to come through right there. But that one right there, ooh, that one's bad. Okay, let's take a look at the cam. The cam has a Volkswagen gear on it. And you can definitely see some, there's another bearing right here. It fell off. Oh, look at that bearing, good Lord. Look at that big chunk missing out of it. Yeah, that came out of here. That was probably causing a little noise, wasn't it? Wow. That one went right here. Yeah, that's pretty bad, guys. Pretty bad. Those don't look too bad, but that one, woo. Let's take a look at the cam. You can see the cam's got some wear on it here. It's got some pretty bad wear right there. Yeah. It's hard to tell, but there's definitely some wear on the top of these right here. See that little notch? I don't know if that's factory or if it's from just being worn out. But I don't think you're supposed to see. This is supposed to be completely silver. That means this is all worn. Yeah, we've got some wear on there. Let's take a look at the main bearing. All right, how many shims we got here? 1, 3. Different sizes. We'll have to keep those. The main bearing's definitely got some wear on it. Look at that. Look at that right there. Wow. She was just worn out, guys. Worn out. They had her rebuilt, put some miles on her, and put her away. Hopefully, the crank can be reused. We'll have to have Darren take a close look at it. That bearing definitely worn out. Look at it. Wow, that's probably the one that was slapping all around in there. Well, there was a few things slapping around, I think. Look at that, worn out. That is worn out. Woo! All right. Not sure about the rod bushings, but they're probably worn out too. Hopefully the rods can be reused. Hopefully the crank can be reused. And we can do, you know, the bearings, get a new cam and lifters, get new jugs and pistons, because these are probably worn out. I'm sure when you look at them, they're bad. I kept them in order just in case, but I'm pretty sure we don't have to worry about that. Now, surprisingly, the lifters don't look terrible, but they do have a little bit of wear on them. So if you're going to rebuild it, cam and lifters are really important. Pistons and jugs and the pins, the rings. I mean, you're talking about $300 or $400 for the pistons and jugs, cylinders, depending on what brand you get, and another $300 or $400 for the cam and lifters. Probably $1,000 for new cam and lifters, new jugs and pistons, bearings, and some other stuff. Now, if we can reuse the heads, that would be awesome, because this is where you can save some money. But if these are the original heads, they're probably worn out. I'll have to take this over to Darren's and have him inspect the valve guides and see if it's possible to save these heads. If we could, that would be awesome. I just noticed something here. These are not supposed to be installed. As far as I know, from watching the Bug Me video, he said that Volkswagen put out a shop bulletin in the early 80s saying not to use these anymore because they get warped and oblonged and cause the cylinders to leak. And you can see these were obviously leaking really bad all the way around. So if I was understanding what he said in the video correct, he was saying not to use these So when they rebuilt this, it could have been, they could have rebuilt this in the 80s. It's hard to know. I mean, the car is a 1976. So if they drove the heck out of it for 3 or 4 or 5 years, it's possible that they rebuilt it in 1980, 1979, 1981, 82, you know, hard to know for sure. And then put a bunch more miles on it and then parked it. So it could have been rebuilt twice. We don't know. It's hard to tell, but it was definitely worked on at some point. As far as I can tell, they were in here doing something. I don't know, but I mean, it's possible this is all original. It is possible, I guess, that it was never rebuilt, but I'm not sure. The only indicator I see is that they have mall pistons, and I don't know if Volkswagen was using these in the factory or if this was a aftermarket. Not sure. But everything else looks original. For sure. So worn out, guys, just worn out, but it was still running, just not good. And what was happening when it got hot is the clearance between these things, you know, once the oil starts getting hot, it gets really thin, even if you have the proper oil. This is obviously completely worn out. So once it heats up, which doesn't take long, it only takes a few minutes, couple minutes, the oil thins out like it should. It gets a little thinner when it gets hot, but if everything's clearanced the way it's supposed to be, if it's all new bearings and everything, that's fine. There's that tiny fraction of a milli whatever space between the oil and the cam, the bearing, you know. But when it's worn out like that, look at that. That is just, that's pretty bad. Really bad. So hopefully we can save the case and get it all cleaned up. Hopefully we can reuse the crank and the rods, and hopefully we can clean up the heads and reuse them. That would be awesome. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the 914 2.0 VW Type 4 engine teardown. It was pretty exciting, and it was a lot of work. Obviously, the engine needs to be rebuilt. That's why it was knocking when we were running it after a few minutes. Hold on a second. That's better. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of the engine teardown of the 914. It was pretty cool. It was pretty exciting to see it come apart. And I definitely, you know, I wasn't surprised that it was all worn out, but I was hoping that it wouldn't be. Anyway, don't miss the next episode, you guys. I got a special guest coming. It's going to be really cool, and you're going to be excited. It's going to be really cool. So check it out. Stay tuned for the next one. See you guys. Whoa! I gotta clean this mess up now. Oh.
guys gonna help? All right, see you guys.